The thing of Dillon Brooks and LeBron, the first altercation, LeBron should have been thrown out of that game. He was pushing the ref. When does an NBA player get to push a referee and stay in the game? He pushed the referee. Then somehow, some way, Dillon Brooks gets fouled on a 3. LeBron clearly fouls him, even hits him in the chest.
LeBron James and Luka Dončić have been suspended after attacking the Lakers coach, as per recent reports. Let's unpack exactly what happened, why the internet exploded, what the sources are actually saying, and most importantly, what this could mean for the Lakers' future if the story escalates. Start with the event. On February 28, 2026, during a game at Chase Center, the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors in dominant fashion, 129-101. On the stat sheet, it looked like a blowout. On the sideline, it looked like a short fuse waiting to pop. Luka Dončić poured in 26 points with playmaking and a big third-quarter surge, then came out for a substitution, and that's when the cameras caught the exchange. A quick chest tap from LeBron James as he went in, a brief physical contact from coach JJ Redick grabbing Luka's arm, a shrug, then an animated back and forth that ended with Luka springing up off the bench and shouting, Jared Vanderbilt stepping in to separate them, a fan video going viral, and the rumor mill running wild. The clip spread so fast it created 1,000 different narratives in a single afternoon.
Pitches. Sometimes he tells me to F off and he calls his own pitch, which is fine too.
Now, here's the part nobody is talking about. Video alone is an incomplete story. The snippet shows heat, but not context, and it doesn't capture 6 years of the relationship between coach and player, or the dozens of interactions in practice and film room that precipitated the moment. That's the key line Coach Redick leaned on when reporters caught up with him. He described the moment as normal competitive chatter and even said he and Luka laughed about it later. 2 days later, he told the press the incident felt very normal and that he and Luka have a long-standing, strong relationship. The team did not announce suspensions. League sources told reporters the short clip didn't merit disciplinary action. Translation: what looked like mutiny on camera probably looked a lot less dramatic in private. But if you're a Lakers fan, you don't get to ignore the optics. This isn't just a coach and player squabble, it's the latest leak in a team undergoing a seismic identity shift. Remember, this roster is still being cobbled together into a new reality after the blockbuster trade that sent Anthony Davis away and brought in Luka, a trade that the league and media still refer to as one of the most transformational moves in recent history. The Lakers are not just juggling minutes, they're trying to make a new hierarchy work while protecting the brand, the veterans, and championship aspirations. And when the world watches the 2 biggest names on the roster have a bench spat, the first question isn't, was anyone suspended? It's, can these egos coexist when the season narrows and the lights get brightest?
You have a unique ability, I think, to find this perfect balance between having fun, but also just being an absolute psycho. You know, it's like, how is that so easy to do for you?
Why everybody thinks it's easy?
Is it not easy?
No.
So it'd be like going on a play date, but then by the end of it, you punched everyone.
Honestly, I don't know the answer.
Let's break down the footage and the play-by-play framing. On the surface, Luka is hot that night. He gets subbed out for LeBron, and something about the physical contact from Redick, a grab at the arm, triggers an instinctive reaction. Luka snaps up. That reaction is what the camera loves. That is the GIF. But sports teams are full of heated exchanges. Coaches hold players accountable on the sideline. Players argue at times with coaches about rotations, matchups, or perceived slights. That's not unique. What is unique, this happened with the franchise's most watched roster under the microscope of national TV and in a season where questions about who this team is built for have been leaking into the headlines every other week. The clip is evidence of friction, not proof of collapse.
LeBron, I think, finished that game. If I look at all the stats, he shot 64% from the free throw line. 64%. Luka, who was shooting 93%, he didn't even shoot. He shot 13 of 14. He didn't even shoot the free throws. What's my takeaway from this? I'm supporting the Lakers, but the refs won us that game, bro. The refs won us that game.
Here's the part where things get dangerous. Public perception becomes a force multiplier. A short clip breeds 1,000 takes. Pundits make sweeping claims. Social media amplifies the most tribal narratives. When a coach and a superstar have a visible disagreement on the bench, the business side will notice. Sponsors, NBA partners, and even the front office start asking whether a coach can keep control, whether a star is in the right mental space, and whether the team is built for the present or for headlines. LeBron James's name alone can make a sideline scuffle feel like a civil war, and Luka Dončić being involved turns it into an organizational identity question. Is this a LeBron-run operation that added Luka, or a Luka-led future that still includes LeBron? The clip forced that argument into the public square. Let's get to the quotes and the receipts, because you always want to know who said what. Coach Redick's public response was measured. He told reporters he had a great relationship with Luka and that the clip was normal. Practically, that's the team's preferred lens, de-escalation. Redick also pointed out he's worked with Luka for years and that those kinds of competitive pushbacks happen all the time. On the other hand, Luka's own post-game comments emphasized game by game, a line players use when they want to move on quickly. Neither man escalated publicly beyond boilerplate. They performed ownership of the locker room script. But the tunnel chatter, the body language, the way Luka stood up, Redick walking away, teammates smoothing it over, created a lasting image that doesn't disappear with a PR line.
So why are you blitzing him?
I don't understand it. Especially with the shooting they surround him with too. It doesn't make sense.
This is where young players usually make a mistake, a lot of analysts say. They mean don't let short bursts of emotion become a career narrative. Here's a reality check. Being fiery is fine. It's championship energy, but timing matters. A superstar getting up at the wrong moment on national TV makes the narrative about them, not the team's success. For Luka, this is particularly sensitive because he's supposed to be the franchise's future engine. For LeBron, a public challenge to coaching structure is an old story with new stakes. And because the camera only shows the climax, not the setup, fans fill in gaps with suspicion. The most dangerous thing here? The narrative that this is a deeper locker room mutiny, because once that suspicion takes root, it becomes hard to prove otherwise. Now the numbers, because the box score never lies. On that night, the Lakers won big. Luka's 26 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds line was textbook. The team's offense looked sharp in stretches, defense less so. And yes, the broader season-level data shows real fit issues. Lineup net ratings and on-off splits have flashed red in some combinations and green in others. The trio of LeBron, Luka, and Reeves has struggled in certain lineups. Combinations of Luka and Austin Reeves without LeBron have been statistically better in small sample windows. Numbers don't settle locker room feelings, but they raise real questions for coaches. How do you stagger minutes, protect workloads, and keep stars happy while optimizing for wins? That's the chessboard behind the emotional headline. This is where it gets dangerous from an organizational standpoint, coaching security. Redick is in his second season as a head coach. If the chairman, the board, and the loudest players see repeated friction moments circulating online, the leash on a coach can shrink overnight. Historically, franchises prefer to side with the franchise player because continuity is fragile. But Redick's answer, to publicly downplay the moment and stress his long-term relationship with Luka, was the textbook attempt to stabilize the scene and limit any external pressure to make a knee-jerk move. For the front office, the question now becomes, can Redick manage not only rotations, but also star egos in the most intense media market on earth? That's a different skill than X's and O's. If the answer is no, the narrative of coach in peril will grow louder. Here's the part nobody is talking about, but everyone should watch: the non-verbal microeconomy of the locker room. When a fan video goes viral and every conversation is parsed for intent, teammates reposition, allies gather, agents and power players start doing private damage control. Talk turns to trades and extensions and front office leverage. Imagine being a role player watching two superstars and your coach go at it on TV. The safe instinct is to pick a side or stay silent, both of which have costs. This is why teams that deal with superstar culture well often have an internal mediator, someone the veterans trust, someone who can make the stars feel heard while insisting the team comes first. Right now, the Lakers have Marcus Smart and a handful of veterans filling that role, but a sustained leak cycle can test even the strongest mediators. So what does this mean for the bigger legacy conversation? This isn't just about a single sideline tiffs. This is about how modern superstars manage their twilight years and how incoming superstars assert themselves in a legacy team. If the Lakers fold to the LeBron-era guard of ego protection, they risk alienating their younger centerpiece and the fans who see the team's future in Luka. If the front office pushes too quickly for a nuke and rebuild or trades to soothe egos, they risk looking soft on commitment to a player they just traded a franchise for. The historical tension, old guard versus new star, is playing out live. You're watching a handover attempt being negotiated in public, and public negotiations are messy and often ugly. Here's the part everybody needs to understand. Basketball outcomes will eventually decide this. If the Lakers lock in and win the playoff series, the moment becomes a footnote. Intense competitive exchanges are common in champion teams. If they stumble and lose close games, the moment becomes Exhibit A in a slow-motion locker room collapse. This is where it gets dangerous. The margin between explanation and indication is a few losses. A single disastrous playoff series, and those bench gifts will be offered as proof that the franchise imploded from the inside out. That's the stakes. So, drop your take. Was the viral video a nothing burger or a smoking gun? Should the Lakers fine or suspend anyone if more evidence emerges? Is Coach Redick the right man to manage such two titans? Or is the franchise one controversial decision away from a full rebuild? The heat is on, and this story isn't over.